あ、超えてるかな。やりますか。分量バランスとか大丈夫かな。ごめんだな、これが。めっちゃかかるやん。いつも長いね。重いのかな、やっぱ。他全部消したんだけど。かんすけさんこんなんどう？いらっしゃい。重いよー。これ以外何もつけてないんだけどね。パララインさん、初見です。あ、初見さん、いらっしゃいませ。本当かな？本当に初見さんなのかな？頑張れ。頑張れ、ローディング。なんか前回、3つ4つくらい、いや割とやったっけ？ 5 個くらい見たのかな、エンディング。あとどんくらいあるんだろう。なんか記憶にあるのでは、2個。とりあえず見とく？押しちゃったよ。押しちゃったー。押しちゃったー。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
ナレーターを攻略する恋愛シミュレーションゲームと聞いて、あ、そうです。正しい。あれ、ついてない。ついてる時とついてない時がある。何の違いなんだ。始めるぞー。行くぞー。はい、来ました。割と従ってたよね、後半は。どうする？どっちがいい？わかんない。右行く？左行く？実際さ、こんな部屋ないよね。迷路じゃん。ここのスペース。右行っちゃうか。
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
ここによっか。ここをキャンプ地とします。
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
喋ってくれる。
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room was creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this
これ初めて聞いた。ナレーターお茶しようぜ。
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
かわいい。まだあんのかな。ナレーターくん。ナレーターくん。書店に行くぜ。ナレーターくんどこ思ったナレーターくんちゃんとセリフ用意されてるんだね。とどまった時の。まるで掃除用具入れ。行くか。
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room. He took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
こっち行ってないね、そういえば。左。とりあえずまっすぐ行く？まっすぐ、もう終わったか？覚えてない。まっすぐ行くか、とりあえず。
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
終わってないね。これで、乗って、飛び降りて、あっち行くと、なんだっけ、上司の部屋があるんだっけ。Do not jump from the cargo. Life will it is in motion. will cause です。なんて
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
落ちたら死ぬぞ。死んだわ。マジかよ。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
また自殺してるよ、スタンリー君。スタンリー君自殺趣味だから。ちょっと右を全部行こう。とりあえず。右から潰していこう。いい部屋だ。
Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
エリスユキさん。めのうちゃんとナイトさん。こんばんは。こんばんは。スタンリー君もいるよ。とりあえず、ここから落ちる。エンドは見たので。これさ、もう終わったよね、あっち。飛び降りてあっち行くやつは。とりあえずこのまま乗ってこっか。
There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
彼女のためです。誰よ。
Stanley, your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
書かない。なんか設計図みたいなのあるね。誰よ、その女。誰よ。しまった。戻れるんだ、一応。暗くない？行く？これ行く？あ、出たー！電話だー。ガーティックフォンかな？信じられないよ。出れない。電話取らないっていう選択肢はあるんですか？くるくるくるくる。取った方がいい？ミノピー！ホラゲーですか？ホラゲーではないです。なんだろうこれは。これ何ゲー？ナレーターくん恋愛シミュレーションかな？絶対違うけど。哲学ゲーとか言われてたけど。私はメタゲーだと思う。どっちがわかねえな。取るか
？Stanley picked up the phone. A white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone?
ごめんって。
No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack." プラクティス。
何だったんだ一体。ライターくん優しいね。翻訳してくれない、優しくないね。なんか、急に翻訳してくれたぞ。
If you begin to wonder if your choice is actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are material insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will do you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Wow.
You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction.
こんなだっけ?
Now that you're properly informed on good decision making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
あくんかい。くじっと。いやー、マジか。これ初めて見たかも。本当に戻っていいの？大丈夫？ごめんって。電話に電話してごめんって。行くか。戻るしかないもんね。あれ？柵がついてる。わーお。先回りされてる。飛び降りれないね。なんかどっか開いた？こっちか。戻れっつっていうか戻るんだよね。なんてこった。
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending. The story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
ああ、そっからってことね。はいはいはいはい。
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
なんで右のドアも開けるの？これ、右っていいのかな
？No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
あら？変わってる。人間も捨てるね。そうです。ゲームセンスある。なんか意味が違う。しゃあないな、戻るか。はい。本当に行く？左？いけないのか。開かない。かももこさん、ごめんよー。バグっとる。ゲームがバグってきた。でも行くしかない？行くしかないのか？変わんなそうだね。行くか。しゃあないな。と見せかけて。ダメか。わかったよ、行くよ。行くって。はいはいはいはいはい。こっちでしょ。ナレーターくんはわがままだな、まったくもう。でもそんなところが可愛いよ。ああら、あらあら。
What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it?
ここなの?
To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer?
学園長、マリン学園長、こんばんは。
No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
え？成田くん？成田くん？キャン壊しちゃった。ゲーム壊しちゃった。うわー。もしかしてカップル？あ、そうです。
Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine and it went to the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you?
めっちゃ怒る。めっちゃ怒るやん。
Story. If you just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There's a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect.
マインドコントロールのやつね。
So hard on it. I tried so hard. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing
こいつ戻しやがった。
I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
入ってあげる？これ、左。また右行ったら同じかな。右行きたいなぁ。いや、もう一回行ってみて、同じだったら変えよう、次。
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibility.
おー、戻るんですね。
I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll
左に行くまで終わんないやつだ、これ。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
打ち切り慣れたくんしこ。慣れたくんしこ。わかる。右開けてくれんの優しいね。慣れた怒りすぎて頭おかしくなりそう。もう頭おかしいけどね。しゃあないから左行ってあげるよ。優しいからさ。おー。いつもの。現実って怖くね。ああ、こっちか。こっちが上司のオフィスか。はえ掃除用具入れに入れない。私の唯一の癒しが。右紹介できちゃう。くるみさん、こんなんどう？スタンリーやってます。あー、悲しい。うわー、下にも行けなくなってる。こいつ、どうやっても、そっちの選択肢に行かしたいわけだ。許せねー。
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an
こんな
indication
んじゃなかった。変わってる。
Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
スタニック喋れないよ。
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark
わかっとんね。わかっとんね。
into the receiver right there on the wall.
無理だよ。そちを食いでの歌でそんな感じ。
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
前回掃除用具入れに入ってナレーターくんで遊んでたんだけど。
You're not gonna do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward.
ブチギレよ。
Into a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Listen to me. Everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you.
もう好きだね。
It's just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know.
もう
I need this. The story needs it.
好きだね。
So, you hear me?
いや、どうしたんだろう。ちょっと待って。
Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay.
スタンリーくん無口系主人公だからね。しょうがないね。
You need time to decide.
わい、傍観者。
Correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
はあ、いいエンド。ナレーターくんになるエンドなのかな今のは。盗撮してるのね。盗撮なのだろうか。好きだなぁ。
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting
いいエ
room.
ンディング。もう神エンディングしかないんだがどうすればいいんだ
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
右行きます。
This was not the correct way to the meeting room. Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
ね、さっ
The
きの
lounge was sublime, a work of art.
上司
Eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
のオフィス初めて見れてよかったな。
Stanley
とりあえ
was
ず
so
ね、
glad
右から
to
潰していくんで。
It's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
うわ来たぜ
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
こっちも
I'm
終わ
not
ったよ
your
ね。
enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the
めっちゃ
story
荷
has
物ある
been
けど。
about nothing but you all this time.
Always
There's someone
time.
you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
ナレーターくんもスタンリーくんもプレイヤーも欠かせない大切な存在ってことだね。
Chance to
あ、いい話だ。
to to put your work aside, to let her back into your
ゲーム
life.
始まっ
She's
たけ
been
ど、
waiting.
世界の外にプレイヤーが弾かれて、ナレーターとスタンリーの疑問だけ残った感じと思って。なるほどね。
That's her, Stanley.
う
You
ー
need to be the one to do this.
さっきは、このプラグ
You can truly
抜い
place
て、
your faith in another.
なんかバグっちゃったんで、電話取りますわ、今度は。
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven.
パン焼いてんの。
All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now I want you to come in and tell me all about.
動けない。動けない。
Gotcha. Oh, come
かわ
on.
いい。
Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
入れましょうか。
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
何？
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and
Good
every
night.
button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk,
そうだよ。
Stanley dreamed of
かわ
wild
いい。
expeditions into the unknown.
もうかわいいね、ナレーターくんがね。
It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
うーん。N？ テレビどこ？テレビどこ？これか。N。
And so he began to fantasize.
んー
Imagine that one day he stepped up from his desk and realized that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. It excited him terribly.
こいつ。愛。
So he went further. Imagine that he came to two open doors and that he could go through them. At first, choice. It barely even mattered behind each door.
落ち着いて。
Neil thought
落ち着い
that
てめ
his
のんちゃん。
decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
4どこ？
As he wandered through the
Ah.
busy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby.
あ、LINE やってないな。
The Stanley
看板のゲームも
Parable.
やってない。いねえんだって。
It was such a wonderful thing. And so
Mukatsukuru.
he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just
ナレー
one
ターくん
more
と同
time.
棲生活ってこと？そうです。
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be?
クソ
In
ボ
reality,
ケ
all he's doing is pushing the same buttons
こ
he
の
always
ナレーターくん、めちゃくちゃひどいやつです
The
よ。
longer he
皆さん
stays。here, the more insight he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
本当に？絶対眠らないけどね。
To tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer.
ラッシさんいらっしゃい。中継だよ。
Killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
え？絶対押すしかないじゃん。絶対押すしかないじゃん。 ってやつは命が限界化しとる。ナレーターくん。ナレーターくん。鉛筆削りだ。いや、文字しかないやん、こんなん。します。
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand?
だからさ、こいつ。
How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
それしかないんだって。選択肢がさ、それしかないんだって。あー、しゃんないな。
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this
開けろ。
And I tried again. Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I... 乗ってきちゃったよ。こいつマジで許せねえ。ナレーターくん。マイクか。 A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
あら、違うね、セリフが。まだ続いてんのか、さっきのが。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
ケロイト死刑だ。デトロイト死刑じゃん。これ。待って。わからん。右行くけど。
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time understood true happiness. Then the feeling went away, and he felt sad again. Then it came back, and lingered for a minute or two. Now it's only half there. Just a kind of, tingle.
なんかセリフが変わってんだけど。
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
でもこれさ、また電話取ったら同じになるか？無限ループになる？
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
はぁ？もう終わったのか、さっきのは。じゃあなんでセリフが違うんだっていう。
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
同じか？
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work
同じだっ
aside,
たらごめん。
to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to
同
do
じっ
this,
ぽい。
reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
マッチンさんこんばんは。でも押さないっていう選択肢がないもんな、さっきの。他に行けるところもないし。動けないんだよな、ここでね。
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha.
かわいい。
Did you actually think you had a loving wife? You want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something.
ナレーターくんマジで好きなんだよ
Let
ね。
me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now.
かわいい。好き。どうする？みんなどうする？落ち着いてください。落ち着いて。いやー、いいな。誰のためでもね、誰のためにやるんだ。それな。もう入るしかないと。どこにも行けないんだな。でもさっきここね行かなかったから見れてよかったですね。
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
幼い。さっきおっしゃったからな。でも幼いとさ進まないんだよね。マネキン。ナレーターくん、メノウのスキピに概要欄に結婚するって書いてある。ナレーターくんと結婚します。推しなんでね。ナレーターをリアルに召喚するしかねえ。それな。いや、もう押すしかないんだよ、8を。しますが。めっちゃ嫌味やん、こいつ。押すしかないんだって。押すか。ここで見た机だな。そうだよ。
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown. Fantastic discoveries of new lands.
断られた。
And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. One day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers,
好きだな。
everyone in the building, had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
ナレーターくん、スタンリーくんのこと嫌いなん？
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
ナレーターくん。
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality,
こいつさ、
the same
マジで。
always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
主君に詩を持ち出さない労働者の鏡。
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
押すしかねえんだよな。
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to.
はーい。
Make the rules. I simply play to my
強
intent.
制することはしませんって言ってるよ。やばない。
I'll try once more to convey all
強制だよ、これが。
I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time.
モラハラだよ、こんな。
Pushed a button. Tried again. Suddenly pushed a button. And I tried.
勘違いじゃん。こんなんどう？スタンリーやってます。マジでおもろい。で、ナレータくんが可愛い。
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started. And if it did, it
天気を見
stopped
てみたい。
shortly after. Stanley
真っ
hoped that
白なんだけど、
he would
外。
see whether
雪か？外は吹雪かな？右行って。え、じゃあ右全部終わった？
Stanley came to a set of two open doors. He entered the door on his left.
持ってないか。右行きまーす。
The correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded,
いい部屋。
butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room? A connection between the two? Could a man love a room? I mean, truly, truly, deeply. Love.
可愛いじゃん。
Yes, really, really worth it.
え、もしかしてナレーターくん嫉妬してるこの部屋に。しょうがないの、本当にもう。可愛いですね。
Really worth it. At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
嫌味しか言わない、この子。
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
それでさ、それで終わっといてさ、次のセリフが来ないのが、ちょっと、マジでやってくれるような。で、多分右？このまっすぐ行くルートは多分全部終わったんで、左行くわ。
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
なん行きたくなるやん。どうする？どっち先行く？奥行くか。そっか。戻ってきたんだね。左の通路行った時と同じか。違う、右か。で、右、上上がって上司のオフィスのやつを多分全部やったから、下行きます。下多分、まだ行ったことない。行ったことないよね？行ったっけ
？But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating?
同じこと言わないんだよ。私たち気が合うね。
I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His was gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
競歩やん、こんなん。
After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
あ
screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
ナレーターくんノリノリだね。
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
ナレーターくん、趣味悪いな。いいエンドですね。誰が散らかしたんですか？
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
ナレーターくんもスタンリー死んだんですけど、何回死ぬんだ。死んじった。あれは一体何回死ぬんだ。もしかして私レクイエムされてる？なんかついてる時とついてない時あるけど、何なんだろうね。めっちゃ散らかってるけど大丈夫ですか？散らかってんね。お掃除しに行くか。なんだったんだ。セリフが違ったりやって散らばってたりするのは特に意味はないのか。
Like a combination of a much smaller version and a much larger version of this exact room. It all made Stanley uncomfortable, and he started to bleed a little. This made him smile. At last, proof that he was human.
何を言ってるんだ
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
一生右マン。そうです。右から潰してこうって決めてるんで。で、今まっすぐ行ったから、これで終わりだ。右。いや、ナレーターくん、激重だよ。そりゃそうなんだけどさ、そりゃそうなんだけど、激重ですね。DV 彼氏だよ、これは。かわいい。へへ。開かない。なあ、こいつわざとだろ。
right. What was I thinking? It's clearly. Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
いいよ、待つよ。優しいから。
We went down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
やってんね。あら？
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
来たね。
Okay. We just have to get back to Oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable.
諦めんなよ。どうしてそこで諦めるんだよ。
Rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track. Okay, from the top.
はあ。スマホのナビ無視して道行くとこんな感じになるよね。ネタバレやめてください。ネタバレ。ということは終わったのか？今の分岐なかったよね。散らばってもいない。
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait.
あ？
No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the
増え
game
てる。
completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay then.
頑張
It's
れ。
an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
とりあえず右行くか。迷路だ。迷路だ。これさ、それぞれに分岐だったら相当時間かからないか？そんなないのか？世界は一つだけ？大丈夫ですか？
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again?
あれ？ここさっき通っ
I find
た。
it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over.
あれ？
and over
戻ってきちゃっ
again,
た。
But it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
もう、ナレーターくん。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
ナレーターくん？お、ついてない。はぁ。右終わったんだよね。はぁ？
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from.
ナレーターく
Why don't we go
ん？ロジ
back
ック？
the other direction and see if we missed anything?
何もないって絶対。ナレーターくん。かないよな。
Aha! I knew
あれ？
we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and
ナレーターく
retrace our
ん？遊んでる？
steps.
もしかして。あれ？また違うとこ来た。来たな。
Now this.
どこや？
Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in work and it really paid off, so good job. Oh no, no, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those
あ、もうめちゃくちゃだよ。
Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this
なんでや
time.
ろうな。
I have to restart.
お前、記憶がなんてこったい。出た !LINE だ。おお、やっと来たね。
All right, I've got a solution.
TheStanleyParable
To make sure we don't get lost,
アドベンチャー
with
LINE。
the help of the TheStanleyParable adventure
Woo!
line. Just follow the line.
イエーイ
What is that?
ま、ここ空いとらんかったやんけ。今まで一度も行ったことないやんけ。まあ、これ分岐じゃあさ、どっからやり直さないといけないんだ？
No, no, I'm done. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
ああ、分岐ないんだね。はいはいはいはい。You win! クソでか。ギャラシーさん、こんばんみー。スタンリーを続きからやってます。右をね、多分、これで制覇したかなって感じ。これで終わりかな？なんかソリティアやってない一応ね、開かないと。ドアが開いたことなんて一度もない。
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way,
哲
is
学
a
か？
story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me.
いいよ、付き合う
We
よ。
can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay.
そうだね。
Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that.
いい
You
よ。
know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music
こっち
to
から来たんだよね。
mood.
うるせえ。うるせえ。じゃないんだよな。ハテナでハテナができてる。どんちゃどんちゃ。タランタンタランタンタンタラタラ。どこなんだこれは。 何の部屋？
Cut the music. Go back and look at that fern.
何を言ってるんだこいつは。
Stanley, this fern
はい。
will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully.
略してパララインじゃん。そうだよ。
Miss anything.
タッタラッタッタラッタラ。楽しげな BGM だ。うるせえんだよな。絶対なんもねえだろ、こんなん。ナレーターくん？怒ってる？もしかして。従わないから。
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No, no, no. Line.
No, no,
You
no.
don't know we're looking for the
No, no,
Stanley
no.
Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
え？そっとじ。マジかー。あっち行くしかないんか。
Oh, no, 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 not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you.
あ、もう知らん。
Everything we went through.
かわいい。
Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
伏線に合わせやめろ。ペロ、これは死だ。ネタバレやめてください。さっきも聞いたな。
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us?
お前が言い出したんや。ラインに沿っていこうって。
Something exciting, daring, mysterious.
そんなね。
This all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
え、本当に？信じるぞ。ナレーターくん。
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything.
それはいいことだね。
Story to be. Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
ねえ。ねえ、どういうこと？いや、まあ行くか。そう、行けばいいんでしょ？はいはいはいはいはい。俺ワクワクしっぞ。悟空さんいるな。ワクワクするね。
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
くるん、くるん、くるん。天井突き抜けてますが。これいつもの。
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in
二択ね。
control. How important we mustn't squander the
帰れないんですか？
In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute.
なんでやねん。
Okay.
ハムスターか。
So I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here.
と
And
う
that
と
in
こ
turn
走
means
る
that
よ
our
ハム太郎
corresponds
隅
with
に
that
こう
counter-inverted
走るよ
reverse
ハム
door
太
of
郎
origin. So starting
あ
from the
ー
right,
好きな
let's
の
ask,
は
will taking the right
ひ
door
まわ
lead us
り
to
の
where we're
種
going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another
論
victory.
理が勝利してしまった。
Come, Stanley. Our destiny awaits.
本当に？ハムナンドさん、そうです。これ絶 対なんかあ
Hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times?
8 times?
Really? All this go? It's all determined?
ちゃんと
according to the schedule, I restarted.
ナンセンスな哲学と音
Am I
楽
just
いいね。
supposed to forget?
確かにそうだっ
What if
た
I。don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written
あ
on this
ナレーターそれまでにスタートについて忘れる。
Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
I won't do it.
Timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen?
一回のスタート、ナレーターが死ぬ
So,
長い時間の後、スタンリーが死ぬ。
I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
あーあーナレーターくん。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. 合ってるはずなんですよ。これで。 When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
これ右終わったよね。さっきのさ、右行って、で左のドアに入って、下に行って、その後って分岐ないよね。ということは右終わったんだよね。下に行ったら LINE が出てきて混乱エンドってことだよね。ということは分岐はないんだよね。じゃあ左だよね。もう左行っていいんだよね。行くか。
Yet there was not a single person here
そろ
either.
そろ終わりが近いのでは。
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
右制覇か。全然わかんないけど。開いた
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on
落
track.
ち着く実家。実家に戻ってこれまし
There was
た。
nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
ダンタダンダンダン
It
ダ
was
ンダン
baffling
ダ
that
ン。
Stanley was still just sitting in
ダ
the
ンダ
broom
ダン
closet.
ダンダン
He
ダン
wasn't
ダ
even
ン。
doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be
ダンダ
justified
ダン
in
ダン
saying
ダンダン。さっきの音楽が頭から離れない。
here doing sweet FA. Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around
言ったよ
doing
ね。
nothing?
ドアバタバタさせてもいいのよ。え、それあん
Please
の
offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? Stanley walked past the broom closet. At least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
はいね。
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend you'll say, oh, did you get the broom closet ending?
そちら食いでエンド見たか？俺あれ大好きなんだよ。
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family.
めっちゃ言うじゃん。
With drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
そう怒んなよ。
To a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's no there, when a physical melody of some sort shut down your
中枢神経破壊されたよ。 死んじゃったよ。
The responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them.
皮肉が過ぎんだよ。
When you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
死亡説ありますね。藤納戸めのうはスタンリーをやってる途中で死んでいた。行くか。好きだな。待って、下行ったよね。上行ったらオフィスで、下行ったら分岐あるんだっけ？こっち何もない。あら？あー、ドラッグだよ。え、じゃあ終わったのか？ もしかして全ルートやった？
All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? This is all too strange. This can't be real.
ここでこそ流すべきだろ、あの曲。
That had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming.
Dreaming.
This is all a dream.
Dream.
Stanley felt to have
言い方が好き。
an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy.
これってなのにない。ここです。
I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So,
ここも分岐ないもんね。ないよね。
and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley
綺麗だ
marveled
な
that。he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. While he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner, why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all
ナレーターくんの夢を見てるって、とても幸せじゃないですか。いい夢だな。
Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's
ナレーターくん、私の夢にも登場してくれないかな。
Hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain beyond a doubt that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back.The fresh air of a world outside this one.
新しい藤納戸めのうさん、初見です。あ、初見さんどうも。パラダインさんって言うんですね。名前だな。
Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
ここでも妻が出てくるけど、本当にいんのかな？いなかったんだよね。本当はいるのか？ないのか。
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
出たよ、マリエラ。
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the
いいエンディングだ。
And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew.Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind.
My
I know
mind.
what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career.And by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body.
スタンリー
Then she
くん。
turned and ran.
スタンリーくん通報してもくれないよ。周りの人が。コンビニとジョイマンみたいな。ジョイマンみたいか？これ終わったんじゃない？見てないエンディングある？ないよね。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
全部やったんだよね、多分。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
左行ったら階段で会議室があって階段で 上に行くか下に行くかしかないもんね。そうだよね。私が一番好きなエンディング見たい。もう一回。どこだっけ？右だよね。右ってよね。でもさ、今、全部やってないわ。あのルートどうやって行くんだろう？赤ちゃんのゲームのやつ。気になる。ちょっと調べていい？私は全ルート行ってないはず。みんなが知ってるのかわかんないけど。どうやって待ってね。ここまで来たら全部見たいもんね。違うな。これか？右ルートのリフトの途中。右か。ありがとう。じゃあ右めっちゃあるんだね。右だけで。左の方が少ないのか。で、リフトに乗ったら飛び降りる。何年も前に解雇されなかったのが不思議なくらいです。本当です。
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing in your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
うまい。わわが好きすぎる。そんな思ってないよ。ちだね。美しいものを君にしてあげたいんだよ。
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
なんかすごい。戻されんのか。確かにこっち行ってなかったかも。ジェスチャー激しいやん。わ
You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
来ちゃった。
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map.
もう初めて来たね。
Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this
あっちにもあっちにも出るところがある。
ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that?
ごめんって。
And in the end it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
なんか向こう側にある。5かな。
Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct.
全部押してー。
Calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach me, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
めっちゃやっとるやん。めっちゃやっとるやん。おもれえな。
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
4。
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind looking at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
ナレーターくんゲームも作れるのすごいね。
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game. All about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective?
赤ちゃんだ。
Be sure to keep notes on your experience. これマジで4時間プレイするらしいよ。赤ちゃん You
赤ち
bastard. You do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game is so why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here?
かわいいね。
Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
赤ちゃん。
Well, so, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will
かわいいね。
here, no, here, and then
ご機嫌やん。
See, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. But you haven't seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
芸術的だな。ちゃんと許可取ってるのが正しいことなんだけど。偉い。見るしかないのか。ないよ。ないよ。これ。前からもちゃんとやったことないのに。ちょっと。
This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
もう。なれたく。なれたく。好きだな。なんだ
Yes.
ポータルだ。ポータルだ。
Trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
ナレーターガチ恋勢です。どうもどうも。ポータルだ。パズれた。
Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
持ってるちょっと。置いて置いて。賢いんですね。褒められちゃった。ポータル配信来たこれ。ポータル持ってるけどやる？ポータル来ちゃー。なんで？やろうよ。やろうよ。置いてかないで。
Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time, I'm just going to leave you here. You can pretend you've beaten the game if it makes it any richer for you, but as for me, I've had enough. So, why don't you get cozy in this room, and if you have any grand revolutionary ideas for the perfect video game, you can just sit there and let it ball up inside you for all eternity. I don't need your advice. I don't need your ratings. And I certainly don't need the validation of a man whose job is to push buttons. I think I'll just go about my business, making meaningful cultural contributions to the world. And perhaps every now and then, I'll think back to a man named Stanley who was objectively wrong in every decision he ever made. The thought won't last long. Goodbye, Stanley. Good luck with your work. And I sincerely hope that everyone lives happily ever after.
成田くんがおごった。 暗い。暗くて何も見えない。ああ。めっちゃ落ちるやん。どこだここは。どこに行けばいいんだ？どこに行っても同じなのか？光ってる。パソコンか。ポータルガンはよ。ちょっと男子、メノちゃん泣いちゃったじゃん。なんだここは。なんだここは。なんも起きない。なんも起きないよ。じゃないのか？
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That is what I mean to this world. Back, there's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon.
ありがとうございます。ナレーターくんヤンデレミが強い。もうちょっと。マジ？なんだ右あるらしいな。右のドアに入って。モラハラだよ。
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay.
諦めたの？
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Oh, well, look who's got cold feet. Sorry to break it to you, Stanley, but that lift isn't coming back. You'd best either get comfortable right here on this platform, or test your luck by jumping to the floor below. You know what? Looking at it now, it's not that far to the bottom floor. I bet you can make it. Whoops. Looks like I was wrong. How clumsy of me.
信じてたのに。
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing.
かなり大爆笑。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
本当の指示通り。難しくない？プスじゃねえんだよな。指示通りに動いてあげよう。しょうがないからね。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to
操作性。
his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
うー。ここか？え？ここじゃない？合ってんのかなこれで。で、戻るんだって。
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the
こっち来ちゃった、
possibility
下。
of facing the boss. Admitting he left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed every...
ごめんって。でもこれだと、ナレーターくん、記憶残してないのかな？あ、よかった、違った。で、裏切ったのはえのちゃんからなんだよな。そんなことないよ。裏切るなんてとんでもない。こんなにナレーターくんのことが大好きなのに。
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
か。で、これでいいのか？これで、戻れない。戻れないよ。じゃないのか？閉まるのが怖くていけないよ。ねえ！無理じゃん。ここをさ、閉まる前に出るみたいな。でもさ、戻れないし。どうしろと
？Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who or what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
難しくないか？デスクにスキル。
2845.
これできる気がしないんだけど。一番最初のとこだよね。待って、こっち先にあるか。
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
はっ。無理じゃん。 何をしてるんだ私は。あ、いけた。
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
これ選択肢あんの？どっち？どこを押してんのかわかんないんだけど自分が。初めて見たこれ。
Then in that case we'll continue. But now here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long do you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
成田くん？成田くん？成田くん？マジか。また置いてけぼりにされた。屈伸なんぼさん。屈伸していこう。聞きに行きたいけどな。同じかな。ここから出られないのか。セットするしかないのか。どんなエンディングだよ。もう一回やるけどね。ジャンプできたっけ君。さっきの黒は何だったんだ。はは。
At first, I assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
無理やすいにし
I
てみよ
don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game
本当に
any old time you want, like right now.
う。初めて知ったリスタートできんの。ええ。
Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are
面白がってる。
unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain.
曲流してくれるんだけど。
There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. Truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley missed was buttons. He pushed them like some glutton. He did it every day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. Yes. You too will become quite unbearable.
いい歌だ。終わったの？もしかして。いい曲だな。なるほどね。いっぱいあるな。思ったよりいっぱいあるわ。23時半け。今日はこの辺でやめときますか。23時だし。2時間くらいやってないってことは。締めに入ります。今日もナレーターくんとイチャイチャできて楽しかったです。いい話だったなぁ。絶対思ってないじゃん。いい話だった。閉めてみる？
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would
赤ちゃん
arrive.
生き残ら
Soon,
せ
very soon now,
て時
this
間の
will
半分
end.
もやった。
He
それ
will
な。
be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's
イチャイ
just
チャ
a
配信
little
だった
bit
か。
closer.
すまんの。
Now,
イチャイチャ配信でした。
here it comes.
「 れは426のドアを開ける。これか。
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
他は開かないのか？開かない。
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
ああ、いつもの。へえ。初めて見た。Welcome to the whiteboard ending. イエーイこれバック？ホワイトボードエンディングですか？これが噂の。これが噂の？ちょっと。あー、ダメか。ダメか。以上。右上になんか消してぼやきっていうのある。確かに。です。なんて書いてあったんだろうね。初めて見た、ここ。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
いやー、やってみる？あれやりたいんだけどさ、難しくない？私の操作スキルじゃ。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he might coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
無理だろ無理だろなんだ本当に。出れた。出れた。ここか。よかった。できた。ありがとう。みんなありがとう。みんなの応援のおかげです。これで自分の部屋まで戻ると。そっちのドアだったんだ。マジミスったかと思った。歩いて帰ろう。ここだよね。私の部屋。あれ？待って。ここだよね。違ったわ。ここやん。私の部屋。なんかドア開いてますね。入れますか？はや？ほえ？ You are not living. はい？なんだここは。初めて来た。skeb ベイフロア760。エレベーターは動いてない。歩いていけと。760階まで。今が754。本当に？罠じゃん、絶対。 暗くて見えんのだが。こっから来たんだよね。暗くて見えないんだけど。暗くて見えない。これの明るさ調整ってすんの？見てよ。明るさってどれ？これ？違う？どれや？何？どれ？これ？これ何？フィールドフィジョン、これ？あ、なんか、一人称が変わるね。遠くなった。明るさ変えられないのか、もしかして。ポーシーピングス。もしかして変えられない？マジで暗くて見えない。なんとか行きました。暗っ。明かりつけとけよ。今左手の法則してる。756。一応ね。もう、サウンドプレイするしかない。757。モニター側の明るさ。モニター。いけるっしょ。みんなが見づらいか。758。ちょっと待って、じゃあ。モニターの画面の明るさって出て帰るの？画面の明るさ。待ってくれー。みんなー。明るさ。違うな。これじゃないな。こっちか。どれデスクトップ。明るさなくない？どうやって変えんの？パソコン初心者か、もしかして。わかんないよー。アプリ。違うよね。これか？色？色じゃない。明るさだもんな。システム？ 無理。めっちゃ一番明るいやつになってる。わからん。まあ、いっか。許せ、サスケ。759。なんか今いた？あと1回だぞ。760。あ、来た！来た！なんか今光った？スケポット、ランチ、ペイ。暗いよ。暗くて何も見えないよ。進んでるこれ。わかんない。歩いてる音はするけど。演出？待って。OBS で変えるか。ちょっと待ってね。ゲーム画面。これか。明るさ。明るさはどうやって変えるんですかね。フィルター？色補正？色じゃないか。どれや？表示違うな。フィルタ。カラーキー。キとなんか、違う？これじゃない？もしかして。真っ暗なんだけど。バグった？バグっている？わからん。ラスト。これ進んでんのかな？動かなくなった。ここはどこ？スタンリーは誰？脱出できたの？待って、画面見にくいね。待って待って。これじゃなくて、フィルターね。どういうこと？ トラストか。コントラストをちょっと上げとく？でか。で、あ、閉じちゃった。待って、待って。開けて。バカ。バカ。畳配信は、コントラストでしたみたいな色合いでしたね。あと明るさ輝度を変えたらそうなった。換金。押しちゃったー、間違えて。せっかくいけたのに、どうなったんだ、最後。これやり直し？うわー。マジ？
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
マジ？マジ？
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
やめる？
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping him coming to a staircase.
いや、もう二度とできねえんだろう、あんな。
to his boss's office.
奇跡じゃん。
The moment
ナイス？できんじゃん、やれば。もうさっきので終わりだったのか？でもなんかさ、出たら絶対違ったよね。部屋の構造が。気になるんじゃ。あれ？あれ？あ。あ？あれ？いけないんだけど。さっきと違う。いけなくなっちゃった。何だったんだ？ダメだ。わからん。これで合ってたのか？うん。じゃあさっきのはもうあれで終わってたのか？じゃあ、オッケー？終わった？でも もここでさ、戻れないのが謎だね。なんか間違えたか？バグったのか？完全にバグってるよね。いやー、閉じちゃったから。いや、クリックしないと。終わっときますか。終わっとこう。終われってことよ、多分。閉めよう。2時間半もやったよ。またやりたいけど、でも全ルート見たような気もするし、終わってなかったら、配信じゃなくて動画で出そうかな。てか4時間マジでやんないといけないのかな。そんだけ時間を使うんだよ。ずっとクリックしてないといけないの？やばくない？しゃあないね。そういうこともある。よいしょ。もしあれができてなかったら、もう一回やってみて、ちゃんとしたのやろうかな。2時間クリックしながら雑談でもいいんだよ。マジ。すごい配信だな。やばそう。何配信なんだ一体。よし。終わろっか。私の雑魚クソ雑魚なめくじ PC くんが頑張ったね。続きは動画で出そうかな。なんかあったとしても絶対ミスるからな。何かしら。何度長時間か ?2 時間半。ご視聴ありがとうございました。また何かやります。ナレーターくん萌え。おつなんど。